What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Gold Maze. That's GLD Maze, all caps when you spell the fucking name. And today we'll be talking about poetry. Today we're starting a new series called the Poetica series. And my goal with this series is to explore my poetry and expand the meaning behind my poetry. Um, I want to explore the lines and the images and the metaphors that I use in an attempt to discover what I really mean when I actually write poetry. I feel like I'm always mystified by my own stuff. In that I get confused very easily, and I don't want to be confused anymore with my own work. So, this is an attempt to showcase my practice in self knowledge, in discovering the morsels of insight that we can glean from our own work. So, and the rest of this video, I'll be wearing a different set of clothing because I recorded the original video yesterday. This is today, and I'm recording the new intro because the last intro that I recorded on the original video was awful. So, here we are. Now, to start the video. De facto danger man. My heart in stranger lands, these ancient sands make up my glasses. Cataract a massive cataclysm. Where do you stand? Is it between the man and promises by your hand? Or over mountaintops? The power stops the heart from touching colder hands. I honor gems from messes. In rock that's stocking up investments, I'm playing chess with blessings. I need command over my dragon way. I need demand, like who gon' want a dragon's waist? We want the golden gems. We want the seeds for better lives, so I take the stems. Made amends with blossoms, gossamer light, show an awesome calling, coating the live view with a striking pollen. Then I break the stems, so I can give it to them. I, de facto danger man. So, that was that poem. And to start, we have the first line, de facto danger man. And I think one of my most underrated abilities and gifts is the ability to come up with badass epithets. I made up this one called Bulletproof Pharaoh that ended up being a song that's hard as hell. Check it out. It's on YouTube and Spotify and Apple Music, whichever one you use. But Bulletproof Pharaoh was the first epithet that I was like, oh yeah, I'm cooking. I used to make up really stupid ones when I first, learned the term epithet. And I knew that someday it was gonna come in handy. I knew that one day I was gonna come up with a name that was just whew, oh yeah, that's it. And Bulletproof Pharaoh was Bulletproof Pharaoh, nigga, crazy. But not to toot my own horn. But I learned epithet in 8th grade with my English teacher, Mr. Smith. Shout out Mr. Smith. And we were reading the Iliad, and he taught us about how important figures in myth were given epithets in the epic poem for dramatic flair. And there were some notable ones. Earthshaker for Poseidon. Earthshaker for Poseidon. Lord of Men for Agamemnon. That's fire. De facto danger man is the epithet I give to myself in context of this poem. I imagine it being the authorities, the man are in dire straits. Shit is going left fast. Shit is mad perilous out here. And in effect, I am the man. I am the de facto man to venture out into the danger, the unknown, and figure out what the next move is. And figure out what the motion is, what the move is, Danger man, he's a superhero, and I'm just, invoking the name. When I say my heart in the next line, My heart in stranger lands. That's really a. Sorry, I'm walking back and forth because I'm walking back and forth from my table. I'll just sit down. Let me just sit down. All right. So, the next line, my heart in stranger lands. When I say my heart, I think I'm referring to the heart chakra, referring to an energy of love centered within me. I think we all do in a way, Whenever we say heart, we're not talking about the physical heart, you know. But the heart chakra, I at least visualize more often than not when I think of my heart. So, in stranger lands is like the uncomfortable territory, the danger man must explore. The next line, these ancient sands make up my glasses, cataract a massive cataclysm. Glass is made up of sand, heated and melted, then cooled. So the concept here is that these ancient sands constitute my glasses, constitute my perspective, my sight. So the ancient knowledge is finding its way to filter my perspective. And y'all know about them Hermetics, the Kabbalion type wisdom, the ancient emerald tablets of Thoth, and the Bible when you read it on your own time too. Because I think like the difference between being in religion or spirituality because socially that's your end to be accepted is like it's an absorption through desperate osmosis, whereas searching for answers and exploring the various texts to find the knowledge which either confirms or denies your current world, that's an equally painful route. But I think the pain is more a strain of growth. Like it's a growing pain rather than something that's like social torture, slow social torture. I choose my pains wisely. But that doesn't mean I don't, go to church. I think there's immense value in a good spiritual community, no matter where it is. But it's about how that community feels to you. And you have to be honest about that. And the cataracts in the line, cataracts a massive cataclysm. The cataracts are a naturally occurring flaw. The naturally occurring flaws, per se, or holes in my worldview that cause the world around me to collapse. Metaphysically speaking, or metaphorically speaking, if not tended to by the lenses of the ancient sands, the ancient glass, it causes the worldview to crumble, to fall on its own logic. So that's to say I definitely need that insight, that wisdom from the ancient sands. It has immensely changed how I see my life, myself, and also my service to others. I think when we think about ancient knowledge, we often enter it from a perspective of ego, from a perspective of, oh, I want to know more, and that makes me superior. I think that's like the first level we have to always break through. The superiority complex that comes with spirituality, or that comes with knowledge seeking in general. That's not restricted to the spiritual life. That can be for the scientific life as well. But ideally, I think there's a melding of those boundaries, scientific and spiritual. Maybe. No, it's a question. But the next line, where do you stand? Is it between the man and promises by your hand? So it's like you have to make a decision to go against whatever resistance exists in your striving for a better life. In this context, the resistance against my revolution is the man. You know the man. That thing says to cower to your manager's whims because you need that job. The cop in your head destroying your joy. Black boy joy in this instance. The man is the great negator of the operation of world creation. And I'm asking, where do you stand? Is it there, in between the promises you made and the man which keeps to set you apart from that dream, from that goal, from that vision of self? That's not to say it's an actual man or an actual group of people. It's more of a concept. It's more of a metaphor of opposition that we all intrinsically feel in our consciousness. So, is it there between the man, or is it on top of mountains where the power stops the heart? And power here can be seen as an altitude, the lack of oxygen making you out of touch with those freezing at the bottom of the mountain because you're too high, too disconnected from the colder hands. I don't want power to stop my heart. If anything, I'd want power to amplify my heart and the heart's impact. Hold on. If anything, I'd want power to amplify the heart and the heart's impact. But what is the law that dictates how power impacts one's legacy? Does it always corrupt? Or does it illuminate? It's just something to think about. So, the next line, I honor gems and messes, or gems from messes. I basically am saying I honor the diamonds in the rough. I just said it differently, And what I mean by in rock, that stocking up investments, I think is the concept of things being lodged in rock as like a time capsule. That maybe God hides these gems like gold, emerald, ruby, sapphire, any gem that's in stone. It's an investment in humanity's grit to see if indeed we will go to those depths, capture and inspire our will, and transform the rock into beautiful gems, jewelry. I think there's a lesson in our search for gems in the real world, like our ingenuity, our exploitation of labor. There's ugliness and beauty to the search for beauty, to the search for material beauty. And I think God makes that apparent. He does that obviously to show the cost in the energy of beauty, in the expression of beauty. So I guess in a way, we are, in the next line, playing chess with blessings, where it's a process of strategy and acceptance that reveals the elusiveness or inevitability our blessings have in our lives. I'm reading off of the notebook. I'm sorry if I'm not making eye contact with you. I'm sorry. I like the idea that when you play chess with blessings, it's like an illusion of conflict. An illusion, a game between friends, The blessing wants to be experienced in full. That's like the whole point of the blessing. So when you play chess, it's a decision to enter the conflict. That at the end of the day, you have control whether you end it and join together again with your blessings. It's something you just have to get past in mindset. The next line, I need command over my dragon way. Connecting command and demand. So like, I need command over my dragon way. I need demand. Like, who gonna want a dragon's waist? I connect command and demand to the concept of the dragon because that's key in understanding like my philosophy of hip hop or the metaphysics of hip hop per se, to me. Command connects to the dragon's way because I believe hip hop is like the institution of revolution. And the personas who we remember in the pantheon of hip hop are those who embody the spirit of revolution in their unique way. the creature or symbol I connect with the change necessary to start revolution, the power needed to create great change. That is, I think, the dragon. In my own practice, I need control or command over invoking that dragon spirit, that soul of revolution. And then I'm saying I need demand. Like I need people to want my work, but I can't give them a dragon's waist. I have to actually pull from my treasure, pull from my worth, my value, and give it to those that need it. We want the golden gems. In other words, the hoard of the dragon, the treasure hidden amongst the danger. But in the next line, I state we want the seeds for better lives, which takes time. So I start the process by taking the stems of flowers already in bloom. And in the next line, I make amends with the blossoms. I think making amends with blossoms, like that line, is such an important part in getting what you want out of life. The process of accepting the beauty already abundant in one's life, and we have an abundant life wherever you are, I think it's the challenge is finding that beauty, is finding that magic, but it's there. You just have to look hard enough. You just have to be in tune to the beauty. It's like listening for the right note in a whole symphony. And the symphony is getting real crazy. Sorry. The process of accepting the beauty already abundant in one's life, connecting with morsels of lucidity, of clarity expressed in tune with synchronicity. The gossamer light of accepting beauty illuminated in one's life reveals the purpose I claim for myself. I think beauty is best clear. And that accepting of beauty allows for that clarity to manifest more readily. And the next line, coating the life view with a striking pollen, or gossamer light showing awesome calling, coating the life view with a striking pollen. When I say a striking pollen, I'm kind of referring to these ideas, those concepts connected to those ancient sands, that ancient wisdom applied to perception. It's striking because it can disrupt your world, shake it up with new notions of spirit, consciousness, arcana. Whoo, whoo, whoo. Okay, wait, hold on. Arcana? I can't give that all away. Shh. Hold on. I break the stems after the amends made with blossoms. So the flow of beauty is to be passed on to the social contract. That is the flow between you and me. Knowledge is meant to be shared and cultivated. So when I say I break the stems, I'm detaching from my own ownership of the power, the knowledge per se, and I'm releasing it so it can be appreciated in the world, in the minds of the people. When ending de facto Danger Man, I wanted to bring back that sense that it's the danger that keeps these things, the beauty, the gems and gold, from manifesting in your life. But it is your identifying with the danger, you becoming the de facto Danger Man, that brings all these things into view, that brings all these things to your hand for you to practice, for you to mold into something new, into something for you. And I end the poem with I, de facto Danger Man, to encapsulate that idea that Yeah, these are all the things that we want: the golden gems, the seeds for better lives, blossoms, beauty, clarity. But that doesn't happen without risk. Nothing worth happening doesn't happen without risk. And that's something I'm learning. And that's something that this poem kind of explores, or I'm exploring in the poem. Yeah. So, this poem you can find on my blog, The.MAZIST, and you can find The.MAZIST on Substack. So the link is in the description down below. You can read that poem and many more on there. And there's also some prose on there too. Yeah. Let me know what you think about the poems. Let me know what you think about this poem and about my breakdown of it down below. And let me know how you're doing in your own creative poetic practice, whether it's writing in your phone, whether it's writing in a notebook, whether it's typing on your computer. How do you explore poetry in your daily life? So, until next time, Maze out. Hold on. I want to do that again. Hold on. Maze out.